Is declassification at risk? Is the task force just a distraction? And what's going on with Matt Laslo versus Rep Luna? We're going to get into all that today on Down to Earth with me, Kristian Harloff. So, yeah, man, this was pretty crazy because when you look at some of these interviews from the past, Ask a Poll, which has really been the major source, minus maybe News Nation, but the major source of what's going on Capitol Hill with the UAP topic, Matt Laslo is really the only reporter consistently always asking people and trying to find out the scoops about what's happening with disclosure and other things. He's been on it with the hearings. I mean, he's definitely, I would say, maybe the only game in town. Like I said, News Nation does stuff, but not in the same way. So in the past, you know, it seemed like him and Luna had a pretty good relationship, but with what's going on with UAP and the task force, last week they had the hearing, and look, granted, within that time from when the hearing was, and then everything that happened in the world after, the focus of media was not going to be on the topic of UAP. So check out this post, because there's a lot of different responses throughout this whole kind of drama of what's going on here. But check out this post from Ask a Poll, Matt Laslo, and we'll start with there. All right, we start with this tweet. Sincerest apologies. We forgot to tag Chairwoman Real Anna Polina, Rep Luna. Said you hide behind interns and your dais, but we actually proud of what we know. Matt Laslo also penned an accidental op-ed on Reddit. Now here is the op-ed. Congress's newfangled task force on the declassification of federal secrets should consider investing in a mirror. Members are proving themselves to be a sideshow, which seems to be by design. The special panel exists at the pleasure of Republican Party leaders who continue playing the Congressional UAP caucus for fools. Like when it took the UAP caucus some 2 years to uncover a special UFO unit within the FBI, an agency headquarters a mile down Pennsylvania Avenue from the Capitol. In fact, a handful of U.S. senators laughed upon hearing their peers on the other side of the Capitol were kept in the dark so long. The secret task force has strings attached from day one. Forget the members' lack of top secret clearances or their unrequited longing to be read in on special access programs. The panel is powerless and can only issue subpoenas if Oversight Committee Chair James Comer and thus House Speaker Mike Johnson approves. They don't even have a budget, let alone dedicated staff, though Rep. Eric Burleson did seemingly outsmart the system by onboarding David Grush as a part-time aide. That means Big Brothers Comer and Johnson have been not just watching their every move. GOP leaders' efforts restricting, redirecting, and stymieing the task force seems to be the point. From its inception, GOP puppet masters have controlled the very parameters confining these policymakers to political irrelevance. Yet, on paper, the headline-chasing secret task force mandate is to deliver unparalleled levels of transparency to some of the nation's longest-running conspiracies, from JFK to Epstein. I have yet to meet a single U.S. senator who's ever heard of the secret task force. And whenever I find myself explaining it to them, they can't help but smirk. They're in on the joke. Better than having them looking for things to get into, Senator Mike Rounds told me through Knowing Chuckles this spring. To senators like many of the rest of us, it's so painfully obvious congressional leaders neutered the UAP caucus from its inception by expanding its mandate from one mystery to dozens of conspiracies. The secret task force does seem to be playing an important role in this 119th Congress. Its very existence keeps many fringe members of both parties locked in perpetual battle with their fringe counterparts, scouring over documents that have mostly already been combed over by generations of law enforcement officials and other experts. It increasingly seems like the task force true mandate is to keep this handful of younger, rabble-rousing members tied up in knots of their own twisting. So why is Secret Chair Luna now taking active steps to block the public and press out of the UAP caucus previously stalled and perpetually stymied UFO investigation? It's likely a question best taken up with the puppet masters. After 9 months of reminding the congressional UAP caucus members of, well, UAPs, it almost seems like this new secrecy-laced silence being mandated by Luna is an attempt to wash their hands of the issue altogether. Since January, the task force canceled a previously scheduled public hearing that members seem to have forgotten to schedule, failed to schedule skiff briefings with whistleblowers, pointed fingers publicly while cutting their closest colleagues in secret. Members have also called for the dismantling of the outwardly facing Arrow, conceptually that is, a new agency some say could be replaced with the FBI's insular and secretive UFO unit. I believe that's called being deep stated, or it should be, because after 19 years in Washington, only deep state I know in D.C. is on Capitol Hill, where the very panel tasked with shining light into decades of Washington darkness is now going dark itself. Pity today's politicians, especially those who devolve in real time alongside their greed-fueled peers. Pathetic. No wonder the puppet masters so seamlessly seem to have set the gears, promises of relevance, power, and historic public service in motion when they spotted some of the easiest marks in town. Fools, intoxicated by public pomp, even as party leaders preordained their perpetual irrelevance. One step forward, two sideways, three back. That's the 119th Congress, perpetual motion and constant clicks, yet no progress. Luna is now draping her secrets task force in the very secrecy she campaigned against and continues to decry while wielding her gavel. Luna promised an unparalleled era of transparency, and what has changed? Like all those swamp creatures who came before, Luna is now part of the establishment, protecting state secrets with silence, even as she pushes the public by cutting off the press corps. Maybe Luna's right. Serious UAP reporters shouldn't waste their time with her secretive and utterly powerless farce of a secret task force. In fact, seems the best reporting on the secrets task force comes from Speaker Johnson's suite and oversight chair's wood panel digs. Not to mention the scoffing senators who've laughed the secret task force off since day one of learning they even existed. Seems if you really want to know what secret task force members are uncovering, log into TikTok. And they followed it up. So sorry we forgot to tag you initially. They tagged Luna. We're so appreciative you showed us your true colors as you ran from questions. We pity politicians scared of their own thoughts. No, you've been too busy for UAPs except last Tuesday, so we're bringing up UAP, UFO, UAPX, UFO, X to you, ma'am. Democracy, you can run, but we see you hiding. Luna responded. She said, respect is a two-way street. You should think about how you treat people. Try being more professional. Temper tantrums won't get you info. Had you not talked poorly of me, maybe I would have talked to you. From now on, I will be sharing info directly with the public. No need to tell press first scoop. The follow-up for them. We're cool, calm, and focused. We want answers. Or for y'all just to read one UAP story a month so you can pretend to still care about the topic. What changed? You used to stand for UAP transparency, but now you blacklist DC's only UAP outlet? Heroic. And we know Matt Laslo can be an ass. Sorry, it stings. Here, if you ever need a shoulder to cry on. Or we're happy to send our interns your way, or you're going to run from that too. Wild idea. Stop trolling, teasing, and failing our Ask a Poll community. You have a gavel. Put your phone down already. And so it goes on a little bit more here, and as kind of cover on the side. Let me play this. This is just, I guess, her walking out and Matt trying to talk to her.
What were you saying, Madam Chair? You guys aren't going to be talking a lot.
We have to go.
Yeah. No.
We'll be publicly releasing all the information that we're doing shortly.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, so clearly she didn't want to talk to him there, but so UAP Ask a Poll also says we're real journalists at Ask a Poll, so no, we stopped reporting Luna news months ago. Luna cost us credibility for simply relaying the chair's bad information. The last time Ask a Poll posted a scoop from Chair Luna, we had to publish a correction. The last time Ask a Poll posted a scoop from Chair Luna, we had to publish a correction, and many times before that. We're not burning bridges with a source. Our sources are solid. Consider this a PSA to UAP UFO community. Seriously, Rep Luna, where's the UAP field hearing you promised for 2 years? What about confirming a public UAP hearing this spring, only to then check with your staff and realize your team didn't fill proper paperwork, thus hearing canned? Where's the USO? Maybe whistleblowers just don't trust you. They trust unless we're publishing a scoop from you, Madam Chair. Because a scoop from you regularly suggests in us needing to correct the record with a retraction. That may be nothing to you, but it crushes our souls to mislead the public. Hence, we don't trust you. Pardon me, that was brash. We do trust. Trust that you live a lie or merely spread them regularly to reporters. Some of this kind of rings true, right? You see some of these comments. She can't remember Dr. Davis's name, who she sat next to for 3 hours and was briefed by privately, and spends an hour saying Sean Kilpatrick. She's tuned out. This is theater. She's been directed to play pretend by the White House. She's a loyalist. Okay, so this is unraveling. It's unraveling, and this is terrible for disclosure in general. Because as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, Ask a Poll and Matt Laslo were really the only ones that were there asking these questions all the time. So it is curious, regardless of what you think about, okay, wait a minute. Maybe she's like, I don't like the way you talked to me, or I didn't like, you weren't being professional, so we blocked you from it. That is not a good answer for me, because, oh, wait a minute. I don't like the way that they, if they would have been nicer, then we would have let them there. If you're really going for disclosure and you really want the information out there, this was really the only guy that was getting interviews from Congress about this stuff consistently. He would ask Rounds, he would ask Burleson, he would talk to Moskowitz, he would talk to Garcia, he would talk to Luna, he would talk to everybody about it. And when nobody else is asking those questions. So that is curious to me. Okay, you get that one hearing, and it was better than the last. That's a definite. But there is a runaround going on here for sure. There are, and when you read what he writes about the task force in general, it doesn't seem like they're being treated seriously. And you can see that without even reading that. You know, when it comes, we can't find anybody to testify. We keep asking people, we can't get them to testify. Why can't you get them to testify? Because you don't have any money. You can't protect them. And that's what he says. They don't even have a budget. Because it's like, yeah, just give them, let them, you feel important, you do this. And I said this a long time ago. Burleson, Luna, Burchett, Moskowitz, how many of you guys knew their names well? Maybe if you're in their state, you know it, but if you're not, how many of you knew their names before this topic? There are always topics that a senator or whoever, someone in Congress, whoever it might be, person in political power, they get involved with a topic that they very well might have a passion about. A lot of different ones. But then there's one that gets them the spotlight and the cameras and people talking about them. And they glom onto it. But they'll tell you all day long that they're very much interested in it. But if someone in their party knocks on the door and says, and the right person, someone that you're, it's House of Cards. So it's always, if there's someone on the other side, you're trying to get their position or you're not on the same side, you'll vote on the same bills. But if you're, fighting for each other's position, or you're trying to be the next in or getting someone else's favor, then sure, you'll take a shot at them. But if someone on your side knocks on the door and says, hey, don't follow that trail. Instead, do that. And those people there, don't let them in anymore. I'm not saying that's what happened. But someone in a position who could say, oh, well, is that going to help me? Yeah, it'll help you. Just listen to us, and this is coming from higher above. Oh, okay, then I'll listen. I don't trust anybody in the government. I don't trust anybody in politics at all. I just don't. Do I think there are some good people in politics? Do I think there's a lot of good people? Sure. Good and bad is different. You're consumed by the game no matter if you're a good or bad person. You're consumed by the game of politics. It's not as simple as saying, well, I'm a good person, so I'm going to make sure that this happens. You can't. You can't succeed in the world of politics without playing the games, no matter what the topic is. And this topic clearly is a topic that, and I was the one thing that I still think that it does well is that it still puts the conversation out there and gives it an air of legitimacy in the public when people are talking about it. And if you, even at this hearing with the Hellfire missile and putting it out there and it got into the mainstream news, it helps. And it doesn't just show that it's just a bunch of people outside of the government that's not paying attention, that there are some advocates for it. Of course that's helpful. Of course it is. But it ain't going to do anything in the world of disclosure. I used to feel differently. I don't anymore. And there have been many people inside of this community that I believe are 100% right, that it just isn't going to come from hearings and other things because of this. It's a circus. It is absolutely a circus. And you're just never, we want to get to the truth. Yeah, but no one's going to let you get to the truth. The real people who want to get to the truth. I mean, you had, this is the other, read a story on this not too long ago. The vice president of the United States sitting next to some goof. And, he brings up, I want to find out about this UFOs. And the goof starts laughing. If the vice president wants to get involved with UFOs, if you're the head of the task force, it's your first phone call. Hey, what can we do to get you involved, to help us continuously? Be a spokesperson. Help us be a part of this. Let's move this up the ladder. What can we do to bring you in? The second you're listening to that, you go, drop everything. Let's make sure that we talk to him about it and make him a big spokesperson of it. But that didn't happen. A lot of different things didn't happen. And I also happen to agree very much so of I don't know who that Eric Davis is. What are you talking about? This is a guy who is sitting next to you at a hearing, and he is saying that there's different species of alien. How do you ever forget that guy's name? Plus the fact that there's also a famous baseball player named Eric Davis. But how do you sit next to someone like that and not remember their name or who they are? I don't know who that person is. What are you talking about? That's part one. Then when you're saying, if you consistently, I mess up names all of the time. But if you're dealing with this and you know that one of your biggest adversaries in the truth is a guy like Sean Kilpatrick, every 5 seconds. I mean, he's not wrong. You're not paying attention to it. You kind of tuned out. Once or twice, 4 times. Oh, shoot. I keep saying that. But it just didn't seem like, is it a show? Is it a show? Do you really care? I think at one point she did. But when you look at, it's like a franchise of a movie that you love. And there's an executive overseeing that franchise. You kind of want that executive to be a fan of that existing IP because you know that they know everything in the ins and out, and they're going to put it in the hands of the people that are going to make that work. If you don't, then it's just well, are you just doing it for gain? That's what it seems like. And now the fact that the task force is getting kind of giggled at, and that's why I brought up the goof that was sitting next to Vance. Because that's the type of thing that's happening throughout. It's oh yeah, that little task force. You've got to do something. You've got to kick down doors and not answer questions. You got to make sure you're making that movie where you're oh, well, the task force was, you could see a film. They were meant to be a goof or a distraction. They were meant to be not to be taken serious at all. But a group of politicians changed it and made sure that it happened. And you look at what Burleson did with Grush and going down that type of road. That's what they should continue to do. But I do think that this is a horrendous thing for potential government disclosure. I am more so convinced now that it will not happen in the government. It won't. It's the same runaround. And I've been saying, and I get some comments, oh, you're so pessimistic these days. What am I supposed to be optimistic about when it comes to this? When it comes to this type of stuff? Should we all just hold hands and dance and say, oh, it's going to happen soon? That's what they want you to do. Oh, get excited because he's right. The clicks, and all that because the second someone's talking about it, oh, what are you going to do next? We have another hearing. We have more witnesses coming forward. We have another pilot he said this, he saw that. Oh, we want to do this, but there's skiff blue, there's this, there's that. It's like you gotta have you really at this point you gotta give us something that makes us trust you now, because especially after for me, Matt Laslo to me has been the really the boots on the ground reporter, doing what I wish most news outlets would do, asking 3 to 4 questions about this to anybody who's involved in it. He does that all of the time. Now, there is also something to be said about, to be fair, on the other side of it, and I'm sure that he would say as much. Ask a Poll probably also got their highest traffic when it came to this topic. So what did they do? They shifted and they really covered this topic. I'm not saying that he doesn't have an interest in it. He clearly does. But he probably shifted and said, okay, this is what people are really clicking on for our thing, because they have access. They had access and they were doing it. So it's like, okay, if we have the access, we care about it. It's what people want to hear about. You listen to your audience in a certain aspect. You have to. And you go, okay, let's move forward and let's do it. So the fact that they are not going to be there asking these questions, it's, to me, fairly telling. So I got no confidence in the government in general, and now I certainly don't have confidence in them with this. So what do you guys think? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Is this a good thing, bad thing, nothing burger? Put your thoughts in there. Let me know. Please subscribe to the channel, click like, comment, all that and more, and we'll see you soon.